Tonight on Joy News Prime, 46-year-old Nigerian who fled after testing positive for COVID-19 in the Upper West Region capital found.
An informant called me and said he will assist us locating. So this morning, the informant did a very good job and he really assisted the police to locate the patient.
Elsewhere, a pastor and two others have been jailed 4 years each for flouting the ban on mass gathering to curb spread of coronavirus.
They were convicted to pay a fine of 13,200 Ghana cedis each.
Also in this bulletin, Chinese ambassador to Ghana describes as an exaggeration claims of abuse of Ghanaians living in China.
Unfortunately, some social media circulate the modified videos to serve their own purpose. Many media tracing and exaggerating the news, which is far beyond its original appearance.
And in business,
NPA finally removes controversial cylinder recirculation margin on LPG.
Going forward, effective tomorrow, LPG prices are supposed to go down by 13.5 pesos per kilo.
So we'll be hearing from the LPG Association of Ghana shortly in business.
Later in the bulletin, desperate residents of Bompa and Babaso, Lejura, Setredumasi Municipal Assembly resolved to drinking aquateshi to avoid being infected with coronavirus.
It was reported. We were told to drink aquateshi, and we asked, how about those of us who don't drink alcohol? We were then told to wash our hands with it.
When you drink alcohol and use some to wash your hands, you won't be infected.
I'm Israel Lai, anchoring from home, and remember, Joy News Prime is live on digital terrestrial TV because we're free to air.
And my name is Aisha Ibrahim, and Joy News Studio Mlimle on digital address DA0992539. The bulletin is also live on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 144. Please stay tuned.
46-year-old Nigerian Simon Okafor, who tested COVID-19 positive and disappeared after he was told to self-isolate in the Upper West region, has been arrested. He was arrested upon a tip-off in a compound house in the Wa municipality. Okafor was picked up together with 7 other persons who came into contact with him and have been quarantined. Rafiq Salam has more.
Members of the Upper West Regional Epidemic Management Committee, led by its chairman, Dr. Hafiz bin Sali, are not at the Upper West Regional Hospital for a guard of honor, but to ensure that 46-year-old Simon Okafor, who tested positive for COVID-19, is properly quarantined. The Nigerian, who has been living in the Wa municipality for the past 3 years, escaped from self-quarantine on Tuesday, and a search party was launched for him to be arrested. He was arrested at a compound house around the Wa Polytechnic area and driven on the bucket of a police Toyota pickup to the regional hospital. Okafor, on arrival at the hospital, was quickly whisked away to the Benz unit of the hospital, which has now been turned into a holding center. He was later joined by 7 other persons he came into contact with. Upper West Regional Commander of the Police Service, DCOP Francis Abodinyako, spoke exclusively to Joy News about the arrest.
We asked our patrol teams, snap checks, to be on the lookout for that person. So yesterday around 10 p.m., an informant called me and said he will assist us locating. So this morning, the informant did a very good job and he really assisted the police to locate the patient. He has relocated from his home and he was with some friends around those areas.
I can see that he was not the only person who was taken to the isolation ward.
Yeah, currently because of what those in medicine, they've told us that
he also threw more light on the 7 other persons who were quarantined alongside the 46-year-old Nigerian.
That if people come into contact, they should be able to also assemble them and also be quarantined. So we had information that he had contact with some persons. So currently two females and 5 males have been apprehended, as I may put it. And they are currently with the regional health directorate, and they are going through the process.
Upper West Regional Director of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Osekufo Afre, though relieved to get back the Nigerian for quarantine, he is worried about lack of space.
We are using one of our main wards for this purpose, and that ward carries no more than 10 beds. So we have some people who are suspected cases, which we are waiting for their samples, the tests to come, the results to come, so that we will know what steps to take. We have also some confirmed cases over there. So just as people are suspected and we don't want them to go back home, it's also depleting our space. So if the trend continues like this, then it means we will need to collapse a bit more wards to use for this particular purpose.
More relieved and excited, but probably not shown on his countenance, is the Upper West Regional Minister, Dr. Hafiz Bin Sali, who will be feeling better now than the days before. Reporting for Joy News, Rafiq Salam.
Now joining us via Skype is Dr. Michael Owusu. He's a virologist at the KNUST. Thank you very much, Doc, for making time to speak with us. Now, what are the implications of some of these incidents where people who were told to self-isolate simply disappear? Hello, Doc. I'd like to repeat this question again. So we're having a number of these incidents where people who are told to go self-isolate simply go AWOL. What are their implications? We seem to be having some challenges with the connection to Dr. Michael Owusu. Turning to our first story, where 46-year-old Nigerian Simon Okafor, who tested COVID-19 positive and fled after he was told to self-isolate in the Upper West region, has been arrested. Joining me via Skype right now is Dr. Michael Owusu, who is a virologist at the KNUST. Thank you very much once again, Dr. Michael Owusu. I hope your line is a lot better now. So the question I was asking earlier is, what are the implications of these incidents where people who are told COVID-19 patients or people who test positive for COVID-19 are told to go self-isolate and then they just disappear?
Yeah, so this is quite horrible because one of the triggers of danger, if you will have to tell whether you can succeed in fighting this COVID-19 case. We should not forget that 70% of the clusters of cases that occurred in South Korea was due to a 61-year-old female that we normally call patient 31, who infected many people because she refused to adhere to all the precautions. She was positive, decided not to self-isolate, decided to visit the church, decided to do so many things. So when people are positive for COVID and decide not to adhere to precautions, there are so many dangers for this, and especially because of the level of infectivity of this virus. At any point in time when they engage, if it's 10 people, they can infect 3 of them. And as in when they have multiple contacts, you should be sure that many people will be exposed. So it's a worrying trend. This is the 3rd time we are seeing this. And if we don't begin to put in measures, I think that it will make this fight very difficult for us.
Now, why is it that we're asking people to self-isolate rather than put them in mandatory quarantine?
Yes, so this is something that I think we have to begin to review this. And actually, there are 2 social classes. From my observation, for those who are elite, well-educated, who understand the disease, they are more likely to adhere to self-isolation or self-quarantine. But for the many semi-literate, illiterate, and the vulnerable in society, they don't seem to understand what is going on. So for them, they are not sick, and most of them are asymptomatic, or they have mild disease. Once they feel they are okay, they don't see why they should be told to sit or be in a place because somebody feels like they are sick. So for some of these people, you need to have targeted education and engage the services of clinical psychologists to work on them, for them to accept what they have, understand the potential dangers they can cause to the public by their own action or inaction, so they can cooperate with authorities. Until you work on their psyche, it will be difficult to get them along, actually, for them to cooperate with you in this fight. And I feel that self-quarantine, self-isolation has not helped us. If you want to look at the trend, see when those coming to Ghana were put under mandatory quarantine, you had about 115 of them out of about 1,030 over. Before that, many were told to go for self-quarantine. And if many of them who went to self-quarantine had reported, you will have had a similar prevalence. But a number did not report. This is why we have to go back to 3rd March and search for all those cases and test them. So it tells you that within our socio-cultural setting, if you tell people to willingly do something, you don't expect that they will care. It means you need some level of enforcement and some level of surveillance to enable these people adhere to the precautions in order to not to endanger the lives of many others.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Michael Owusu. Dr. Michael Owusu is a virologist at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Aisha.
Also in this bulletin, Ekpando Circuit Court has convicted the founder of the Church of Pure Christ, Apostle Samson Agakpe, and 2 of his congregants to a 4-year jail term each for flouting the presidential ban on religious gatherings to curb the spread of coronavirus. The 2 others are Maxwell Jogbejikpe, the pastor's assistant, and Samuel Agakpe, the church secretary. They were arrested on April 12 for organizing a church service with over 50 congregants at Togbe Abui in the South Dai district of the Volta region, violating Regulation 1, Subsection 1 of EI 65 and Section 6 of 1012. Act 1012. The court slapped them with a 13,200 cedis fine, but would have to serve time because they could not pay. The Peki District Commander, Superintendent Simon Agbodeka, has been speaking with Volta Region correspondent Fred Kwame Sari on the development.
On the 12th of April 2020, the police had an information that a pastor was having a church service in one of the communities within my area of responsibility. Based on the information, I proceeded with my men to the said location, which is Tongo Abui in the South Dai District Assembly. We met Apostle Samson Agakpe, the founder and general overseer and head pastor of Church of Pure Christ. In service, he was preaching to a congregation of members who were over 50. We took photographs of what he was doing, or the preaching or the service which was ongoing, after which the apostle and 2 of his church elders were picked up and brought to the police station for action. After thorough investigation, they were charged with the offense and arraigned before the circuit court in Pando on the 14th of April 2020. Based on their own plea at the court, they were convicted to pay a fine of 13,200 Ghana cedis each, or in default, serve a prison terms of 4 years with hard labor.
Chinese ambassador to Ghana, Shi Ting-wang, says claims that some Ghanaians in China are being subjected to abuse is not entirely true. According to him, fake social media content has distorted the truth. Minister for Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, Shirley Ayoko-Botchwey, last week issued a statement condemning what she called inhumane treatment being meted out to Ghanaians and other African nationals in China with regard to the COVID-19 outbreak. Speaking after a donation to the Chief Imam, Ambassador Wang says many of the said videos circulating currently have been doctors.
I understand some unpleasant incidents might happen in the process. But the Guangdong province, when a couple of people needed a shelter, actions have been taken by the local authorities. And now no one tramping on the street now. But unfortunately, some social media circulate the modified videos to serve their own purpose. Many media chasing and exaggerating the news, which is far beyond its original appearance. Now the situation in Guangdong has been settled, calmed down and settled. But some media are still hyping the old stories. Even today, I still receive the videos captured many years ago, several years ago, and it's still circulating in the social media to say that it happened a few days ago in Guangdong. Here I want to emphasize that the rigorous measures taken by Guangdong province are to protect the safety of everyone. They are for everyone, not aiming for Africans only. Considering the safety of all foreigners, including Africans in Guangdong, we appeal to everyone in Guangdong to follow the rules, to cooperate with the local community.
The Chinese embassy also emphasized investigations are currently ongoing into all the claims raised.
Also, everybody concerned about some African citizens in Guangdong province. The Chinese government attaches great importance to this situation and carry out investigation at its earliest time. Actually, as a pandemic spreads all over the world, there is also a mounting pressure to prevent its resurgence in China, especially for Guangdong province, a major province of opening up in China. This province has comprehensively upgraded its epidemic prevention measures. During this process, some misunderstandings may have occurred. At present, isolated phenomena and occasional cases caused by misunderstanding has properly resolved.
Ambassador Wang urged all persons with complaints to come forward for all such matters to be addressed.
If any unpleasant incidents happened, they can contact your embassy in Beijing, your consular general office in Guangzhou, and even my office in Ghana. My office is open to you. We are ready to serve you at any time. All in all, China always sees in Africa brothers and sisters. We have found that many, those are not true. Those are not true.
Two investigations, if any prove out to be true, what are the guarantees that we'll have justice for this?
Parliament is currently debating a $1 billion cedis package to cushion the economy in this time of COVID-19. Our man, Joseph Opoku Gakpo, has been monitoring the debate and brings us more. Hello, Gakpo. If you can hear me, tell us more about this debate.
There is a report of the Finance Committee of Parliament recommending that the House approve this particular facility. The Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, laid the document on the floor of the House earlier today, requesting that Parliament approves it before the IMF can sign off it completely. And among others, the $1 billion that's coming in, an amount of 1 billion Ghana cedis will be used to pay for the electricity subsidy that the President has announced. And the debate is ongoing. The Minority Leader, Haruna Iddrisu, is commenting, after which the Majority Leader, Seyi Mensah-Bonsu, will comment, and then the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, would also comment. But currently, the Minority Leader says he's worried that Ghana is returning to the IMF for a loan facility just a few months after the nation said it had completed its program with the IMF.
All right, I'll have you hold there, Gakpo, and listen to the Minority Leader, Haruna Idrisu, who is currently on the floor.
They emphasize two things: fiscal and balance of payment support. But I see that in the committee's report, the emphasis is on budget support. Now, there are pressures even on the exchange rate arising out of COVID. That is why the IMF will give you money in order that, Mr. Speaker, let me go into the history. Probably the Minister of Finance will know better. The special drawing rights was instituted in 1969 as special reserve assets to complement the official reserves of governments. That is the essence of an SDR. So as we go into this, we should not be narrowing ourselves only to budget support, even though for our purposes it's understandable. How much of it will go for balance of payment? We need to know, because that will affect the cushioning of the city. Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Kodo makes a point, and then I see an interruption with it. May I refer you to the committee's report, probably page 6 of your committee's report. And Mr. Speaker, whilst Parliament is called upon under Article 181 to consider the terms of the loan, yes, Minister for Finance, this is a good facility, and it's good that you have gone for a kill. You want cumulative your 100% of the quota. Other countries are even entitled to 150% of their quota, depending upon their SDR with it. But at least what is significant is that you want to draw down all the 1 billion at once. Commendable. But Mr. Speaker, what the Honorable Kodo raised, page 6, with your indulgence, I quote, beyond approving the terms of the loan, this Parliament exercises an oversight responsibility. In that oversight is what the Honorable Kodo is saying, that come with better particulars as to your intentions to spend the $800 million US additional. And Mr. Speaker, I quote, out of the total facility, approximately 1 billion Ghana cedis, that's about $200 million US. So Honorable Kodo is simply saying that you have accounted to us what you will do with $200 million US of the 1 billion. Further account to this Parliament and the people of Ghana what you intend to do with the 800 million. It is easy to say budget support, but for purpose of oversight, what areas of budget support can we monitor as a Parliament that this is where the additional 800 million US is providing for? That is why, in your own words, you say 1 billion will be used to finance the electricity subsidy announced by His Excellency the President. Is it only electricity subsidy the President mentioned? So water subsidy, will it come from this amount? We'll be happy. No, I'm saying, I'm debating. We'll be happy to note how much of it. What commitments under the budget will you dedicate the additional 800 million US? Mr. Speaker, let me conclude. I wholeheartedly support this. I can understand that globally, and I'm sure this morning the Minister for Finance is deeply engaged.
That was Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu there, but my colleague Gakpo is still on the line. Gakpo, do we know when this money is coming in, the $1 billion coming in?
Well, Aisha, according to the report of Parliament Finance Committee as delivered a while ago by the chairman of that committee, Dr. Marcus Beyeboa, the money is hitting Ghana's account in a single tranche today, Friday, the 17th of April, 2020, which is how come there was the rush to get the necessary parliamentary approval for that. So the indication is that that $1 billion should be going through the Bank of Ghana any moment from now.
Joseph Opoku Gakpo is our correspondent in Parliament. Still to come in this bulletin, desperate residents of Bompa and Babaso in the Ijura district drink akpeteshie to ensure that they do not get infected with coronavirus.
When it was reported, we were told to drink akpeteshie, and we asked, how about those of us who don't drink alcohol? We were then told to wash our hands with it.
When you drink alcohol and use some to wash your hands, you won't be infected.
We'll be back with business. Time now for business. Sandra Penny is here with the latest. Hi, Sandra.
We've been having the conversation, on the NPAs thing. Finally, there's some good news.
It's been withdrawn.
I know you're happy.
Oh, sure, definitely. I should be happy.
All right. So, celebrating 25 years of joy, my name is Sandra Esinamap, and I'm always here for business. The National Petroleum Authority, NPA, has finally removed the 13.5 cedi levy on LPG. Joy Business has cited a statement issued to key stakeholders on this development, and it says that, if you can see on your screens, it's saying that please find attached the revised template for the computation and submission of ex-pump prices effective 16th April 2020. For the attention and necessary action, please note that the cylinder recovery margin on LPG has been removed. The attached template replaces the sent on 15th April 2020 and take retrospective effects from 16th April 2020. All OMCs and LPGMCs whose indicated prices are affected by this change are hereby directed to resubmit their indicative prices for the period of 16th to 30th April 2020. Following the removal of the LPG, Marketers Association is appealing to its members to comply with the new directive. Gabriel Kume is Vice President of the Ghana LPG Marketers Association.
Going forward, effective tomorrow, LPG prices are supposed to go down by 13.5 pesos per kilo. We want to take this opportunity to sound a word of caution to all our members, to all the LPG retail outlets across the country, that effective tomorrow, we expect that all the outlets will reduce their price by the 13.5 per kilo on LPG. We don't expect that our members will take undue advantage of the situation and continue to charge this levy when our regulator has officially withdrew it. So we are appealing to our members that effective tomorrow, if we see anybody continue to charge this levy, we are going to own the person up so that the authorities deal with the person. It's time we reduce it so that our consumers will have that experience that reduction in price.
Still on this development, the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana COPEC earlier filed a suit to challenge implementation of the cylinder recirculation levy. So what's next following this development? Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana, Duncan Amwa, joins me on the phone lines now. Duncan, you must be a happy man.
I'm sure Ghanaians are very happy this evening. I'm sure Ghanaians would be happy and would say thank you to Mr. President, thank you to the Energy Minister, the Honorable John Peter Amewu, for indeed listening to the voices of the masses. What we sought to do was to ensure that the NPA did not take the laws of the land into its own hands and by extension punish Ghanaians unduly without due process of law being complied with. And fortunately, even before the court processes or court sitting or hearing could begin, authorities have already stepped in to direct that the NPA withdraw. And this, I think, is good news for every Ghanaian this evening. And
certainly some good news.
My brother Kumi right. What this means for Ghanaians who will be buying LPG tomorrow, for the average bottle, which is the regular bottle that most homes are used to, the 14.5 kilogram bottle, Ghanaians will be saving at least 2 Ghana cedis on every bottle you fill tomorrow. And that's for the population, I think, should be some good savings that Ghanaians will make in face of Corona. Right.
So the case is in court. I asked you this yesterday, and I'm going to ask you again. Does this automatically end the litigation?
What now is left is whether the NPA would also come out to be magnanimous, to appreciate the 5 pesewa LPG compensation margin that is still being charged on us. We do think that that fund must be accruing some savings, for which it might be able to get some money to do whatever cylinder recirculation implementation it wants to carry out without burdening all of us any further. So we'll have that discussion behind the scenes and see the posturing of the NPA. That would inform whether the court issues are abandoned immediately or some leg of the court bits be allowed to stand off, further hearing.
Okay, so what happens to consumers who've already purchased at the old price? Should the revenue generated for the period within which it was charged be returned to the consumer? And I asked yesterday, I'm going to ask again, how would that be done?
Indeed. If you recall, I reiterated yesterday that customers of LPG should be taking receipts for every LPG that they procured within the period. And so we would expect that if there comes a time for any compensation or return of funds to consumers who bought gas within the period that the NPA was illegally charging them, people will be able to at least produce receipts for whatever compensation by way of some gas that they will probably be topped up with or some rebates that they receive on their next purchase. People should try hold their receipts if possible, and then negotiations will go on behind the scene. If there's anything about compensations, I'm sure that the right people will be able to receive same in due time.
I'm grateful for your time as always. Duncan Amoah is Executive Secretary of COPEC. Away from that, Parliament is sitting tonight to approve the $1 billion IMF credit facility for government to use in cushioning the economy against COVID-19. The agreement was laid in Parliament and referred to the Finance Committee, which is expected to report back to the House for plenary to approve the facility. Joining me on the phone lines now is Parliamentary Correspondent Joseph Opoku Gakpo. Gakpo, if you can hear me, has the facility been approved yet?
Not yet. That's supposed to be done in the next few minutes. The majority leader is rounding up on the debate after we are expecting the finance minister to respond to the concerns that have been raised by the MPs, and after that, the speaker will put the question and then the facility will be approved.
Right. So what are the terms and conditions on this facility?
From the explanation that we're getting, this is a $1 billion loan. It's coming with a grace period of 5 years, actually 5.5 years, 5.5 years within which no payment will be done. And then after 5.5 years, repayments will then start for a period of 4.5 years. And so the loan will be maturing over a period of 10 years, and it's coming at a zero interest rate in terms of the charge.
All right, so we know this is certainly to cushion the economy against the COVID-19, but do we know specifically where this money will be used?
And so out of the $1 billion US, an amount of a little around $200 million, which is 1 billion Ghana cedis, will be used to finance the electricity subsidy that the president announced some few days ago. And then the rest of the proceeds will be used to support the 2020 budget. Specifically, the finance minister in a memo to Parliament indicated that there are financing gaps as far as the economy is concerned, and they are anticipating revenue shortfall and additional expenditure when it comes to health and social needs because of the COVID-19. And so those are the areas that the money will be invested.
Finally, before I let you go, what's the body language, the reaction from both the finance minister and MPs on the floor of the House?
On both sides of the House, the majority, the minority, the NDC MPs, the NPP MPs, they are all supporting the request for approval, except that they are raising a number of red flags. For example, Haruna Idrisu, the minority leader, says he doesn't understand how come the government is running to the IMF just a few months after the government indicated that they are done with the IMF program. Benjamin Kodo, who is a minority MP on the Finance Committee, says they are worried that on the additional expenditures apart from...
Our parliamentary correspondent, and I'm back after 8 p.m. with more business news updates.
Time now for Showbiz. Becky is here with the very latest from the world of showbiz. What's up, Becky?
Cool, Aisha.
Good
to
see you.
Cool, yeah. It's a Friday. It's a beautiful day to be alive.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Just that we can't get charming and having fun because
all
thanks to COVID-19.
But we still can't. We can't do that.
We can't go to the places we used to go.
Aisha, let me tell you about Stonebwoy. He's about to release an album called Angloga Junction. And he will release that on the 27th of this month.
That should be BIM.
I know. Relax. So Stonebwoy had this album put together, I don't know, different countries. He has like so many people on the album, all the way across, the globe.
Wow.
Yes, that is an interesting bit of the album. But the surprise, though, is that Stonebwoy is actually, here, kind of. Okay, he's here. Or he joins us by Skype to talk all about Angloga Junction. Stonebwoy, if you're there, let me say BIM.
Yo, what's up?
Oh, that's Stonebwoy. Aisha, I told you Stonebwoy's
BIM,
here.
BIM.
So, let me see your lighters up, everybody. All the BIM Nation fans gather around because the BIM Nation boss is right here to talk entertainment right here on Joy News Prime. Yes. So, Stonebwoy, what sets this particular album apart? Angloga Junction.
The name on its own, you know, is interesting to me, for the fact that we have come this far, having gotten a lot of experience from, the works that we have done, learning from the best and pushing ourselves to do the most and the best that we can as well, creative-wise. So we decided to put this album together and give it an identity that will actually stand out. So when you hear Angloga Junction, you begin to wonder, wow, because it could have been called something else. But Angloga Junction, there's an Angloga Junction everywhere in the Volta region, in Kumasi, in the north, and it's the Anglo people, when they settle at any point, they have to put their identity on it. So that's the kind of thing that I'm just giving an identity to this album, because it's different actually.
I'm curious to know, why not Ashama Sakasaka Park, where for 6 years you've held some interesting concerts there?
One of the biggest
Thank
concerts.
You very much.
Yeah. Ashama to the World concert.
Absolutely. Why Angloga? Because it has a deeper meaning. It represents a people. It represents an ethnicity. It represents a language, for me. Because first and foremost, I'm an Anglo boy, and literally a number of songs on the album, you hear me speak the dialect even more. I think this album has had me speaking more of my dialect. So this is the time that we have to actually be proud of ourselves. I mean, like I've always been, but continue to sell, Africa to the world from wherever we stand from, or from wherever we come, And I come from Angloga, I'm a Voltarian. I'm not trying to be tribalistic, but at least, when I'm not trying to be tribalistic. I feel like we all have to be proud of ourselves, and out of that is the only time we can all unite, because if I understand who I am better, I can understand somebody else.
And you can relate better. I think I agree.
But why the specific people, though? I've seen Kerry Hilson. Interesting one there. I'll talk about that. Kojo Entry is in there. Nasty C is also in there. And Zlatan from Nigeria. Why all these people? Why did you choose to go with these people?
Thank you. These great artists, I should say, have been carefully selected for the masterpieces that they have been delivering over the period of time, be it new or old. Kojo Entry is a legend by all standards, as far as I'm concerned. I used to sing his songs from day one before I even got the opportunity and the honor to have to work with him. So this takes you back into the high lifetimes. It takes you back into legendary or Ghanaian culture, Ghanaian music. And then Nasty C also is new, but this also takes you all the way into South Africa because it's one of the biggest artists right now, you know, from that end. Not because he's big only, but because the album is structured in a way that we want to capture and captivate so as to continue to promote Ghana and our music as well, and the brand Stonebwoy as well, into the corners of the world as we go and as we grow, you know, and as we do this musical work as well. So you find Keri Hilson also super, super amazing talent, you know, from America, super songstress. You guys will be, I mean, you guys are here to see the stuff. Beautiful song we did. And Zlatan as well. If you hear you know.
And talking Zlatan. About Keri Hilson, how did you get connected? How did you connect to Keri Hilson? She's an amazing person.
Yeah. Amazing. Like I've been a huge fan of Keri, you know, and getting to know Keri as a friend has actually even got me to respect and taught me a lot, you know, because the Western world is where we all seem to look at and copy from. But some people are actually real, you know, and I, like I always say, I don't choose popularity over quality, you know. So I'd always go for the best of the best when creating such musical pieces. And also you can see Diamond Platnumz is on there, one of the biggest artists from the eastern part of Africa. Yeah. And you can see Shiv is also one of Ghanaian-born European artists who is doing it big amongst the diaspora, you know. So I put him on the Good Morning song. And we carefully tailored this album to suit certain markets whilst we don't veer away from originality and creativity and quality. That's how we did it.
Wow. Interesting. But guess what? Israelite is also waving at you. He says, BIM. Easy.
BIM.
Let me see your BIM sign, Easy. Do you know the BIM sign? BIM. Do you know the BIM sign?
But Easy, what do you make of all, I mean, the likes of Keri Hilson, I mean, putting all of them together in one song?
It sounds like a massive one. And,
do you know Keri Hilson?
I'm looking forward to getting
anyway?
to listening to... Yeah.
Aisha doesn't know Keri Hilson.
I don't know Keri Hilson.
Sing one of Keri's songs.
Please. Let me talk to Israel.
Aisha doesn't know about Keri Hilson?
No, I'm just asking. I was just curious whether you knew Keri Hilson.
Can you sing any of Keri's songs, Easy?
Yeah, I know Keri Hilson.
All right.
Don't put me on the spot. I'll
never thought that I'd be in love like this.
So you knew you were coming to sing, so please don't put us on the spot.
Oh, okay. Stonebwoy still there. Stonebwoy, do you have a favorite among all the people that you featured on this recent album?
Yes, one of my favorite songs. I find it very difficult to choose, but currently the last track is a reggae song. It ministers to me, you know, at this point in time. It's called Strength and Hope, you know. Okay. So that song is right. Every song is a favorite of mine, but this song ministers to me right at this time, at this point in time. You know, for me, when I put together music, these are like my properties. These are like my kids. These are my products. I can hardly say I like Kojo more than I like Ama. You know, they may all have different qualities that define them and make them special, but you can hardly choose, you know, amongst your kids. Yeah.
But many are wondering
why Sobolo is not part of your selection.
Exactly.
Sobolo has been released as a single, and it belongs to us. It belongs to Ghana. It belongs to the world to consume, and you guys have access to it. But the rest of the songs on the album, they were all meant to be fresh songs, you know, that you guys haven't heard. I know people put together songs over a period of time. They release the songs and then they put it all back together in an album. I have done that before, but in 2000 and my last album and this album, I think I didn't do that. You know, I had taken time to make sure you guys can have something very fresh to listen to when you collect the album. That's how I did it. But Sobolo is you can go out there and enjoy. It's one of my favorite songs as well. Something different and soothing. Yeah.
But Stonebwoy, do you miss performing on stage? You know, coming on stage with all the patois, you know, Bim Nation, I don't know what I'm talking about.
My dear Pam, it was around, Becky.
Yeah. You know, Stone Boy. Do you miss all of that?
Oh my goodness.
Do you miss all of that?
Yes, I mean, I was right in the middle of a tour when the whole pandemic blew up, and then we had to call off and postpone all the shows to further notice. So I mean, I'm feeling it, you know. I'm feeling it, you know what I mean. So, but the most important thing right now is to obey the protocols, physically and spiritually get closer to the Maker. You know, because we're passing through this earth. Nobody's going to live forever, regardless. Whether you die by corona, you die by fever, whatever it is. So whilst we take precautions and pray that this one leaves us physically, we have to also use this time to meditate and get closer to the Maker as well. Yeah.
Easy. I present to you Stone Boy.
Right, so for me, so for me, I have an axe to grind with the wife Louisa.
Okay.
Louisa.
Bring it up here.
Oh yeah.
She makes you up.
I'm gonna bring it up here. So just Stone Boy, just my regards to your wife, Louisa.
Okay. You guys have something in common. Yeah, I get that.
I think I found out 2 days ago. You made a post and I saw your wife did something and she's called Louisa. So that struck me. I'm like, wow.
Oh wow.
His wife makes him up from home.
Stone Boy, we'll be looking forward to one of the virtual concerts because we want to see you performing all by yourself, so we'll be enjoying it. Yeah. And thank you very much, Becky, for bringing us showbiz.
Thank you. But before I leave, I think I want to break the ice here right now. I'll make you guys know that on Thursday, the 23rd, before the album comes on the 24th, we're going to be having something like a virtual concert with an interview intense, you know, on Joy Prime. Okay. So everybody tune in and get ready, you know.
We wish you all the best, Stone Boy. Stone Boy, bim.
We love you, Stone Boy. Thank you so much.
And that'll be it for those of you watching on Joy Prime. News continues on Joy News.
Local government manufacturing companies tasked to produce personal protective equipment for frontline health workers have been asked to do so with a sense of urgency. As health workers continue to express fear over inadequate and sometimes non-existent PPEs, Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia says production by the selected companies is not only expected to make up for the shortfall, but will continue beyond the COVID-19 pandemic. Dr. Bawumia, together with Trade and Industry Minister Alan Kyerematen, visited the companies Friday afternoon and asked them to expect more orders from government. There's more in the following report.
The 3 Ghanaian companies, Dignity DTRT, Sleek Garments, and Catlin Fashion Limited, have now channeled their respective workforce into the production of standardized PPEs to meet local demand. Addressing managers of Salma Fashion, the Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, said the initiative has the potential of permanently ending the import of the medical gear.
We have about 5 companies who have been asked to, as a matter of urgency, produce these PPEs. That is also something that is now clearly going to be the way forward. From this day on, I think that once production capacity ramps up to where it should be, then thankfully we will not have any need to import these items going forward.
Speaking to Joy News, Trade and Industry Minister Alan Kyerematen said government is ensuring that the companies use locally produced fabrics that meet international standards.
Take the face masks, for example. These face masks are made from locally produced fabric. From Japan Textiles, it moves on to either Akosombo Textiles or GTP. And it goes through a process called mercerization. You understand me? And it is certified by the Foods and Drugs Authority and then by the Standards Authority. So You are talking about the highest level of quality inspection before it comes out. What we are wearing is far better than some of the products that are imported into the country.
A designer at Nalem Clothing, Gregory Kanko, says the PPEs orders they've received from government has provided the company an opportunity to scale up its production.
So our last order for PPEs was about 1,500 pieces. But now, for nose mask alone, we are producing up to 10,000 pieces a day.
10,000 for nose mask?
Yeah, for nose mask. And for the PPEs, depending on what you're doing, if it's the doctor's gowns, you're able to do not less than 1,000. And if it's for the scraps, to not less than 1,000.
Production at these 5 companies is expected to meet local demand, something the companies say could help create employment opportunities for unemployed designers.
The camp of the Ghana Paralympics team in Kumasi is congested, raising fears of the potential spread of COVID-19 in the event a case is confirmed there. About 25 of them are crammed in a single wooden apartment, disregarding social distancing protocols. Nana Senso-Mensah has been interacting with the national athletes and now reports.
I'm from Jam Quarrison, me a powerlifter, or 80 category. I'm from Frederick AJ, me a powerlifter, 47 category.
Me doing Patrick Yaobe, me I'm captain of the para team. Medals are Majama country about 25 medals and then more awards.
The national para-athletic team have been camping in preparation for the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games, which have now been postponed to next year due to the coronavirus pandemic. A makeshift wooden structure has housed the country's Paralympic team since 2006. The athletes appear not to have a choice, having to endure such conditions in a bid to chalk successes at global competitions for Ghana. Poor accommodation of the team can no longer be ignored, at least until COVID-19 is over. Multiple Olympic gold medalist Patrick Yaobe is captain of the national team.
You're from Patrick Yaobe. So because I come medals, somebody I need to say, or Corona because a lot of medals. Because me call one event, me two one competition there, and me medals in the USA. The rest of the one I'm in Morocco, African Para Championships, and then we win 800 meters and 1,500 meters gold. So 2 events now me event I'm to 2 years ago, April last 2 years. Come there, make us come there, be there, say. First now near owning in our crown. Nya dia, ye be free baby. Like all starting now we are into no say para team national. But you need support to be in free government work. Say ye training, see a ben no one debi. Even Minister, Sports Minister, crowd busted Romana, Yahoo, near preaching on the crown, Menembekasa, no, our pie local. So I said, and President, and see, your difficulties near no be brave because I had, government anywhere. That is said, yeah, or many black stars on me, fee say, and can make with difficulties because, crown who can do what he said, yeah, or ball football who can. And so anytime be on, or my training in our focus on now, ball.
Your friend is Zinabu Yisa. Mr. Mayor Fred event, I'm a 2 discuss in javelin, short foods. Mr. Maji medals too, Amagana, Abayama, Mr. Mayor Campara team. Yenina, that we am because a Dawson, if you have been pateti, Kakrabi Neufia, the Akari, a man near 10. And a man no can so. It's Yenina that we munti, I dear Sassia, no one saying now, be a young conchain or Talia, nature say, Yadabum. Because you see in a phone in a titty dime. It's a Hayani that a training and upon you mean a Hayani, I wish share baby a Hayana of a barbatry. And it said we any buy any day, and one see a 4 for us, just had the arching, Obia for no quiet up and you know baby a day at Natana. It is only a titty or Hassi.
A standard gym is another concern as the environment and facilities are not sport-friendly. I take you into the existing gym made of old locomotive metals athletes have had to contend with over the years. Mr. Obin laments repeated complaints to authorities have fallen on deaf ears. These physically challenged patriots have defied the odds to sacrifice for their country and not chosen the easy way of begging on the streets. The major safety mantra against COVID-19 is social distancing, hand washing, and staying home. However, until help comes the way of these national athletes, they are exposed to danger of contracting the disease. Nana Asensumensa reporting.
Some desperate residents of Bompa and Bapaso in the Ejura Setredumase municipality have resorted to drinking local gin, popularly known as Akweteshi, to avoid contracting COVID-19. Joy News' Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin reports the residents are so convinced about the theory and that it will take some strong advocacy to reorient them.
At least, if I have 3 Ghana cedis, I can buy alcohol, keep it so that I can drink and use some to wash my hands.
I have heard that if you drink the alcohol, you cannot be infected with COVID-19, and even if it does, it won't be severe.
Welcome to Bompa, a town in the Ejura Setredumase municipality of the Ashanti region. More than half of community members have gone to prepare their lands for this year's farming season. But some few women and children remain. They hope their parents would come back with game for family dinner. Like everywhere else in the country, children are not in school because of COVID-19 outbreak. Residents here are aware of the disease in the country, but there is one misconception running through the communities. What I have heard is that when you drink alcohol and use some to wash your hands, you won't be infected with COVID-19. So anytime I wake up in the morning, I drink alcohol and wash my hands with it to protect myself.
When it was reported, we were told to drink Akweteshi, and we asked, how about those of us who don't drink alcohol? We were then told to wash our hands with
Yes, I have some friends who also drink the alcohol and use some to wash their hands to protect themselves against COVID-19.
If housefly settles on an infected person and then comes to sit on your food, you can also get the virus.
Some of them say they have heard that boiling food in alcohol can fight the virus. Residents claim they heard all these on radio.
We always hear it on radio or TV.
The only alcohol the World Health Organization recommends in the fight against COVID-19 is alcohol-based hand sanitizer, washing your hands with soap and water, or using alcohol-based hand sanitizer kills viruses that may be on your hands. With less community engagement and education on COVID-19, would anyone fault residents here for drinking alcohol to fight COVID-19? While communities in this municipal assembly are far apart and hours away from the municipal capital, not everyone has a radio or TV, and not all of them travel to Ejura town. A report by Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin.
In other news, 11% of Ghana's population still drink from surface and other unsafe water sources. That's according to UNICEF. In this story, Jojo Kobna and Martina Bugri bring you a story about a day in the life of a girl in the rural community of Fushegu in the northern region. The report draws a strong link between poverty and collection time for water.
My name is Dauda Monica. I'm 16 years old. I live in this community called Fushegu. I'm a lady in this community. When I wake up early, I'm doing certain things, but the most thing I always do is fetching water. The water we are fetching is too dirty. We don't want that one because we don't have the another water. That's why we went there to fetch that water. That water is too dirty. It's not clear because when we want to drink that water, you can't feel well. It can cause you disease, but we don't have any water. That's why we use that water to drink or to cook. When you run there, some people wash their face in water. Some are bathing it inside the water, but still we are fetch that water. In the water there is no nice because the people are doing some dirty things inside the water. Some are bathing in the water, some are washing their face or they are bathing in the water, and some are washing their boobs. Some things that will cause that water dirty. They are using some cutlass to cut the fish. When they are trying to do that, it causes the water smell. The place we have fetching water is too long because we need 20 minutes to go there. As today, when I went there, my phone dropped into the water. Yes, it's our duty to fetch the water. So every day, morning and evening, we went there to fetch the water because it is also part of our duty. When you go to fetch the water, when you come back, you can't feel well. You get tired and pains all your bodies because your neck, you can't feel well, and your legs too. We want the pipe or the nice water because that water is not nice for us to drink, but we drink because we don't have any water. We tell him we want the pipe so that it can help us to protect our body or to protect our health. So we don't have time. If you go and fetch the water and come back, you use the time that left and cook and prepare so many things. That's why we didn't boil the water before drinking it. When people are forced because of that water, they tell you to drink the pure water or the water that preferred, but we don't have that one.
And in other news, Multipack Limited, manufacturers of five-star drinks in Ghana, has donated assorted items worth 40,000 Ghana cedis to the National Security Secretariat to help them prevent and halt the spread of COVID-19. Managing Director Hassan Jibril led the team to present the items at the National Security Secretariat this afternoon. The items included nose masks, hand sanitizers, liquid soaps, gloves, water, among other things. Two officials of the Secretariat, the Deputy Coordinator Duncan Opare and Chief Legal Officer Osei Bunso Dixon, received the items.
We, Multipack Limited, manufacturers of Perla mineral water and five-star drinks, we are here today in an ongoing support to fight coronavirus in Ghana. And we are donating and also to assist government's combat the novel COVID-19 virus. We are here to donate some items which we feel that it can support somehow. We are donating hand sanitizers, liquid hand soap, hand gloves, masks, and the products of Perla mineral water, which we feel it is an essentials which it may support and help in fighting this virus. Actually, this donation is a part of our company, corporate social responsibility, in a way to move or to help stop the spread or fight the spread of the coronavirus in the country. So also, thank you all, and especially we thank the National Security, the Ministry, also for their continuous efforts to be sure for what they did or what they always do for the safety of the Ghanaians, and as well the assurance of the measures taken by the government of Ghana to fight the spread of coronavirus in the country. So may God bless and save all of us. May God save and bless our motherland, Ghana.
And if you just joined us, we're still live on Joy News Prime. Remember, we're on DTT because we're free to air. We'll be back with more in the business segment.
It's a pleasure having you on Business. My name is Sandra Esenam Apen. Markets have tumbled due to fears of a coronavirus-driven recession. Travel restrictions and quarantines are affecting millions of businesses worldwide. In times like this, I'm sure you may want to know how your countrymen and women are faring abroad. Let's take a trip to South Korea for a quick check on how the Ghanaian business community is doing. But first, though, permit me to share with you some statistics on South Korea as far as the coronavirus is concerned. And you can see as of today, unemployment rates as of March 2020, the number of unemployed people stood at 26.6 million from 195,000 same month last year, and the number of temporary layoff categorized as unemployed is, as of March today, hits a record high of 1.6 million compared to 1.26 million last year. And then we are told that Ghanaians the community working in South Korea are also badly affected, and then temporary laid off workers who eventually also lose their job permanently have a negative impact on the South Korean economy. And domestic airlines, carriers, travel agencies and duty-free shops have also imposed massive unpaid leaves for workers. And then, so case count as of today is 10,635. The total is 230, and the number of patients released from quarantine after recovery is 7,829. All right, so Richard Zinleri is a Ghanaian resident in South Korea who is also into foreign trade, and he joins me via Skype. Good to see you, Richard. We don't have Richard yet, but all right, Richard, good to see you alive and kicking, because the last time we spoke, you told me the condition in South Korea. What has changed as of now?
Good morning, Sandra. Thanks for having me once again on your show.
Yes, I was saying I'm happy to see you alive and kicking and doing well. We spoke about the situation the last time, and you told me that businesses were closed in South Korea. Has anything changed as of today?
Yes, a lot has really changed. As of the last time we spoke, the condition was really bad. But as we speak today, April 18th, 2020, the situation is getting back to normal again. Businesses are reopening. I think the last time we spoke, I hit on the fact that lots of restaurants and companies have closed temporarily because of the severity of the outbreak. But today, it happens that most of the restaurants and other companies are opening up. But those of us who are into the used car export market, we are somehow still affected by this. Simply before the outbreak, we used to make about 12 containers averagely in a week, and then we send over 70 cars to Ghana. But these days, looks like most of our clients who are Ghanaian based, and they come over to South Korea for a short stay, and then we purchase their cars for them, load the containers, and get it shipped to the Tema Port or Takoradi. Most of them are stuck back home in Ghana because flights have also been canceled. There is no flight moving as at this time. So once flights are not moving, these clients cannot come over to South Korea. So this has hugely affected the used car export market as well. And Ghanaians in South Korea, we number close to about 2,000, with more than 50% of this making up postgraduate students and others in the business sector. So Ghanaians who used to also work in the factories and companies are now home. There is a huge layoff throughout the country, and Ghanaians have not been spared in this country. So most people are home. They are not having a job like they used to do before. And if care is not even taken, this temporary late situation could lead into a permanent job loss.
Wow.
So Ghanaians here are hit by this, and those of us who are in the used car export to Ghana, we've had very low purchasing requests, and things are in the
that doesn't
before, yeah.
That doesn't certainly sound good. But who are your main customers back home here in Ghana, and what have they been telling you following your inability to supply them the goods?
Yes, we mainly have used car dealers from Abossey Okai, Kokompe, and Magazine. And usually they would make 100% travel, they'll make 100% deposit into our company accounts here, and then they'll place their request. We make a list of them and ship it. And about 80% of these persons, some of them used to come over here to inspect the goods we have purchased before we load them onto the vessel. So most of these business people from the Swami Magazine, Kokompe, and the Abossey Okai cannot even come over because most of the flights they booked for the February, March, and April is canceled. So to hold on with loading. And mind you, at the loading point, Ghanaians that are employed to help in loading these containers and to ship the goods are all home because there is no container to load like we used to do. So just this week before this Friday, we were able to load about 4 containers only. And these 4 containers, before we used to have like 126 staff capacity that helps in loading this. Just 10% of them will be needed for these 4 containers to be loaded. So both the customers back home affected, and workers here too, you're severely affected as well. Yeah.
Well, we can only hope for better days. And so let's deviate a little bit from corona-related issues. You're not too happy with the new act banning salvage vehicles over 10 years. Why?
Yes, Ghanaians in South Korea hugely rely on this export business, and this creates about 1,000 employment for our people back home. Because when we bring in the salvage cars, this is what we call the accident cars, that are slightly accidented. And when we bring them back home, they go through the port system. And after the port system, takes its taxation and other stuff, and we bring it back home, the mechanics work on it, get it fixed. We get the roadworthy regulations to examine it before we even hit on the road. But once this salvage cars has been banned by the new act passed by Parliament, it means that we cannot send accident cars to Ghana again. Now, and here is our way. Dealers in Ghana and dealers in South Korea would be affected in the sense that if there is a new company that sets up in Ghana, and that company is supposed to manufacture brand new cars, so to call it, how many Ghanaians can afford brand new cars? And the salvage cars that we bring into the system, these are cars that are not even used on the go. they have to go through, the engineers and the mechanics for it to be fixed before one could drive it. And if you have a new car assembled in Ghana, and let's say Sandra gets to buy any of this car, sorry to say, but if Sandra drives this car and there is a slight accident on the car, Sandra is not going to pack the car home and not to use it anymore. Definitely, she would seek for fixing, and after fixing it, she would drive it again. Then when we bring the salvage cars, the spare parts dealers would cut them into small pieces to sell onto the market.
I get that, yeah. All right, Richard, I'm very grateful for your time. I know it's early there and you stood up for me to have this conversation. I'm grateful. Richard is a Ghanaian resident in South Preston, and that will be all for business from me this week. But stick and stay with Joy News and also log on to myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Sandra Esinamapem. Stay home, stay safe, and stay beautiful. Good night.
And as if all the numbers from Business and Sandra were not enough, we've got a few more for you. As you know, we have 641 cases of the COVID-19 in Ghana. We are on day 19 of the lockdown. We are but 0 footballers. And that's how I want. Ariel Smith, what do these numbers all have to do with my assessing the impacts of COVID-19 on several sectors? We've done that on Joy News. This time, it's football. Benedict Owusu in this special report.
The Ghana Premier League had picked up. Interest was high and fans gradually were buying into the Bring Back the Laugh campaign. And then this happened.
The Minister of Health has confirmed 2 cases of COVID-19. The cases were confirmed on the 12th of March, that is today, 2020. Laboratory results of the 2 confirmed cases were received at the same time from the Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research.
This announcement changed everything. Everything was hit, including the beautiful game. On Monday, March 16th, when Asante Kotoko and Interlies, as well as Accra Hearts of Oak and Kim Faisal were supposed to play their matchday 15 games, the president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, announced a ban on all public gatherings a night before. Subsequently, the GFA closed their offices to the public, and after some few days, they, just as everybody, started feeling the pinch. Here is Prosper Harrison-Addo, who is General Secretary of the FA.
It's safe. So people should, when I was coming, I also saw some of the people queuing up and all kinds of pushing and shoving just to get gas. Gas will be available. So this staying at home thing, we should take it in the spirit it was read to us by the president, so that we don't push each other and then fight each other over foodstuff and petrol, gas and things like that.
Players have resorted to training at home, something they are not familiar with. The normal life of a footballer every day is to go for training and prepare for match days. But now, things have changed. Last Lens striker Samuel Tete talks about his routine now.
When I wake in the morning, sometimes we train via video call with the team, or like sometimes we train alone. So when I wake, if not with a team on via video call, I train alone outside, or I train inside, and then like probably eat, watch some movies, and then talk to my friends or play some games. This is what I've been doing every time.
On the part of management, clubs are finding it difficult to make money for the day-to-day running of the teams. They are simply not in business because of no games. Hearts Managing Director Frederick Moore gives us an idea of how difficult the situation is.
Giving up a huge amount of their pay so that the club will sort of survive and all of those things. We are constantly reviewing our financial strength, what we can do, how we can become stronger. It's not just under COVID-19, it's every time.
Media men like myself are not left out of this. Although we come to work every day, we now have to dig deep, put on our A game to get content. This is the norm though. But going to people for interviews and watching games at league centers is no more, at least for now. Here is sports journalist Michael Lutieji.
Generally, it's sort of slowed everything down. At a certain level, also, it's brought significant pressure on not just looking for content. It's also meant that journalists have to be extra creative in getting material on it. But how long can you continue this to tell the story of how players are coping with coronavirus? I think overall, sports journalists in Ghana have coped well. I like the way we've latched heavily onto nostalgia as a major theme. I've seen people putting material out on social media that's deriving a lot of engagement. So there's been a lot of thinking that's gone into all this.
The coronavirus is here. There has been a lot of instructions about it. Let's stick to it. One is wash your hands most of the time. Let's wash your hands and be clean. Use your sanitizers very well and try as much as you can to be safe.
It's very unfortunate Ghanaians are experiencing the COVID-19 this very moment, but I can assure you that Italy has experienced the worst in the last month and a half.
I just want to wish everybody back home good health, especially in this current situation with the coronavirus going around.
We're in a difficult time right now. This coronavirus is causing a lot of damages and a lot of things in the whole world.
I advise everyone to stay with the protocols, stay home, be safe, and protect your family and yourself.
Interesting. So that's about it for the local segment. Now, on Epic Moments today, before I go to who I'm going to introduce you to, a little questionnaire we put on Facebook. Who in your lifetime is the most skillful footballer you ever saw? Comments coming in say Emmanuel Queno. That's a name that I remember from the 2000s. Says he plays with Michael Essien, Muntari at Liberty Professionals, but luck eluded him, and that's football. That's from Isaac Ninsin. SL Ni Odai Asokroja says Ronaldinho. Mohamed Shiraz says Tariq Jibril of Heart of Folk. Ishmael Kwanzaa says Ronaldinho. Emmanuel Kujo says Samuel Bio. Seydou Alaji says Rivaldo, Zidane, Emmanuel Dia, and then Givens Jivenu says it's Ronaldinho Gaucho. And so we decided that after all the 200 and something comments, the man who got the most votes is our man for the epic moments today. Smiles, shimmies, and soccer sorcery brings us to the end of the bulletin. I'm Gary Al Smith. Thank you for your time. Let's do this again next week, shall we? You have a good weekend.
And that'll be all for the bulletin. I'm Israelai, anchoring from home, and over to you, Aisha. It's been good doing this with you.
It's been fantastic doing it with you, Israelai. And my name is Aisha Ibrahim. Many thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of our program.